Hey guys, this is Milo with RMS Customs and Fab. Today we're going to be talking about our 69 Camaro that's being built. The vehicle's name is called Commando Camaro. The owner and driver of this vehicle is Garrett. He's actually came to us with the idea of building this car as far as being super light, and his main purpose is going to be for autocrossing and road racing. So I'll walk over and show you all the details on the cars as far as what we've done, what we're going to be doing, and also at the end, what our main goal is for the vehicle once it's all finished. So if you walk over here, this is basically what we ended up doing. We ended up using a TCI chassis, rear triangulated suspension kit on the vehicle. But what we did is, since we narrowed down the rear subframes, we moved them in more. We raised it up so that way we can get really low clearance from axle and the subframe, and also we can lower the car as much as in just the right height that's where we want to be and not be limited on the adjustments. So if you come over here and you see what we ended up doing is, so we used our kit, but at the same time we actually modified. I would probably say about 40% of it. A couple of the modifications we had to do is for the rear panhard bar, the rear bracket, we had to shorten this up. We had to recut it, rethread it. The other thing is we had to make a rear upper coilover mounts for the shocks, for the coilovers. We had to redo that. We had to also make the mounts for the rear sway bars. We also had to remake the whole mounting setup for the lower control arms. So we ended up redoing that. So before we did anything up, what we did is we pre-mocked everything up with the original floor pan on the vehicle itself. What we did is we used some square tubing, just welded it in, so that way we can just start ripping it apart, but everything's still stationary and it's in original position, and then we can work off of that. So now we also, since we're redoing, let me show you this, is the whole floor plan is we went ahead and we redid basically this is just to restructure the body itself. So what we did is we made this structure piece, and we also made this rear structure piece as far for the rear. So it's all gonna be tied down together, so that way the vehicle is all solid, one piece, true. You know, as far as being one unit. You know, because obviously, if you know the Camaros are unibody cars, the rear subframes are. I think they're like 18 gauge, something like on the subframe, so it's not very thick material. What we ended up doing is we ended up going 1/8 on the material. So that way it gives a lot more strength. The owner, he can beat it and doesn't have to worry about it. You know, the rear subframe cracking or moving around or the body twisting or anything like that. What I ended up doing is we still kept the subframes from TCI. We just used them. They're nice, tucked in, everything's all bolted. But a lot of the stuff, instead of their kits come bolted, we're gonna be welding everything together, so that way it's all one piece, one unit. Also too, what we did is we dropped down on these on the floors, because the owner of this vehicle he's kind of tall, but we want him to, since we are going to be putting a roll cage on the vehicle itself, we want him to have a good amount of clearance for his helmet, for his seating and everything. So we did drop down a little bit on the flooring. Then we're going to continue building the whole floor pan itself. This vehicle will have a Willwood pedal assembly. I'm sorry about that. It's gonna have a Willwood pedal assembly, so it's gonna have all three pedals: the clutch, the brake, and the gas. So it's gonna have all set up right here. Basically, there's the steering column that we're using. It's an eidetic column, it's on going back on the brakes. It's all manual brakes. He likes the manual feel. That's one thing he had mentioned. I don't want to have a booster. I want to have manual. I'm going NA on the motor, which naturally aspirated. It's not going to be boosted. It's going to be an LS7. He wants to put a radical cam in there. something that's gonna rev up high and not hold back on vacuum. So that's gonna be, he still wants to drive it, but he's not concerned about the drivability of having a pretty aggressive cam on the street. So he said, don't hold back on that. Let's build something. Let's get something together, and I want something that's gonna be able to rev up pretty high. So, and I told him, okay, we'll build it for you. So that's what we have going on. The motor is gonna be an LS7 dry sub motor. So what we did over here is if you come over here on the front section, we did narrow, we cut down on the side, so that's where we're going to be putting the dry sump. Over here on the passenger side, where the wheel well and the firewall meets in the corner, we shaved that off. Now over here, if you look over here, the suspension that we're using, we're also using a TCI front clip. The whole suspension's all TCI, so everything's going to be basically, if you look at it, it's a tubular setup on the vehicle itself. The brakes that we are using, it's going to be matching obviously the master cylinder, which is going to be full wood, 6 pistons in the front, 4 pistons in the rear. The other thing that we're going to be setting up on the car with is there's going to be running forged line wheels, which is going to be using 315s in the front and 335s in the rear, EFGs. This is one of the things that he told us that he wanted to run, but also too, we're stretching out the rear quarters, but one of the things he said is like, let's give it enough clearance for this, but I still want to have clearance to be able to run a 355 tire. So I said, okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do is, the best thing about it is I could always work off a shim. So if he ever decides to run a 355, we just take off one of the wheel spacers, a quarter off, and then he can just put the 355 and the wheel will go in, so that will give him the spacing that he needs. And then if he's gonna run a 335, he'll just put, you know, the other another spacer, and then just that way he can offset the wheel and then take it out more, so that way he can have a wider rear track width on it. So we want to have the vehicle, we want to be able to set it up the widest track width we can, so that way the car can handle and take turns and beat it and take it and go fast with it. So that's our main goal. The quarters are going to be stretched about almost 2 inches. So that's something definitely that we're working on right now. If you look, but we wanted to finish out the structure of the body, so that way we can set up the differential, center everything up, and know where basically our measurements are going to be at for the quarter fin. So this car is going to have a lot of custom stuff. One of the things is we are doing rear custom tail lights for us. It's going to be basically a one-off tail light for this vehicle. It's all going to be LED sequential setup. Getting all this worked up right now with one of the guys that's going to be designing the tail lights right now, so that's in the progress. We are running a Holley management system on this vehicle. We are using the new Holley dash for the vehicle as well, which is a 12-inch dash. And so he wants F40 style setup on the whole on the vehicle. So it's going to be pretty plain. It's not extravagant as far as the setup on the interior, but it's something that it's, you know, if you want something, it's there, it's visible, and it's accessible, and it's clean, but it's simple, and it looks really nice. So that's one of the things he just said, you know, this is a style I want. And he said, okay, well, that's what we're gonna give you. So if that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get. We try to always to work with the customer on the details, because at the end of the day, besides the paint, this is where they're gonna be sitting at majority of the time. So this is going to be their comfort zone, because when they go racing on these vehicles, I mean, they're in here for at least an hour or two, you know. So the most comfort they get, the most accessible, the switches, the air conditioning. We are running an air conditioning. We're going to be putting a vintage air system in here, so it's going to have all the controls in there, easy accessible. We are using a T56 Magnum transmission with but sequential sequential shifter. It's not a sequential transmission, it's just the shifter itself. It's just basically manipulating like if you are running sequential. But the benefits about this is, as far as having that style of shifter, is that when you're just road racing and you're going cross, you don't got to worry about trying to find what gear or going in. You just go up, press the clutch and go up, and we'll go down. On the gears, all that's going to be all set up too on the Holly dash, so he'll know what gearing he's at. Also too, what we did is we cut down on the driver's side firewall. So just like how we did on the passenger side. So basically, in the future, if the customer does decide to put ABS, which probably most likely will, once you get the car broken in, and at the same time once he starts going faster and faster, then one of the things with the benefits of the ABS is, I mean, it's saving life on the tires. Because tires are pretty expensive, but at the same time, him having that back of his mind that he can go late braking on the turns and not worry about locking up all four wheels. So we will be later on, we'll have be able to capabilities of putting an ABS system and right here, and then just plumb it off, basically off the the master cylinder. That's going to be in all the pedals inside, so we'll just be able to run all the lines and then just finish off the lines right there. So it's going to be, the vehicle will be already plumbed for the brake system, but I'm going to have it set up so that way it's easy to tap in, and if that's something that he wants to be able to add in the future, it's ready to go, and not have any issues, and not having to redo a lot of brake lines, because stainless lines and then the labor and time, it's expensive. So, but yeah, this is it. The whole front end on this vehicle, it is an Anvil carbon fiber front end. This whole car is going to be probably about, I want to say maybe about 60% carbon fiber. The whole front end's carbon fiber. The fenders, the front upper valance, the lower valance, is going to have a Anvil hood carbon fiber. The doors are going to be carbon fiber. So it's all carbon fiber. The trunk's going to be carbon fiber. The rear lower valance piece right here, that's going to be carbon fiber. It's going to have a 3-piece wing. So basically what we're doing is we're going to be making the wing, we're going to be making the molds, and then we're going to send them out, and then we're going to get those made out of carbon fiber. So one of the things is, on the lines, all these vehicles, since it's going to have lines for the vehicle, we want to show the carbon fiber on it. So it's going to have, the car's going to be painted. Excuse me, the car's going to be painted, but there's going to be the black, that's the SS stripes lines, is going to be shown as carbon fiber, especially on the wings. So, and also the rear bumper is going to be made. It's all carbon fiber as well. So it's like I said, probably the only thing that's going to be steel on the car is going to be the roof and the quarters, and obviously the front firewall. But other than that, it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be carbon fiber. So the floorings obviously is going to be steel. So, but yeah, this is definitely going to be a fun car. It's going to be a very light car. People are going to say, well, the car is going to be too light. Obviously if he goes to any events, he has to, it has to meet weight specs, which is fine. I can be able to put the weight wherever I need to on the vehicle. I can balance, be able to balance the whole car, set it up how I want to set it up, and or basically set it up with the car tells us how I like it, where it wants it, and be able to just drive it. So it's definitely going to be a fun car. That way he can just go, take it, and beat on it, and have fun with it. So again, we definitely appreciate Garrett and his father Lefty to give us this opportunity to be able to build this awesome car. They've given us the trust. This is something that we take, great pride on our work. They know that what we're capable of being able to build, and they're giving us the freedom to show the fabrication, the craftsmanship on the vehicles, on the builds. And with that being said, I like to give them a huge thank you to them, because they're a huge part of the RMS family. So, and with that, we really appreciate it. So, but yeah, that's Commando Camaro. Stay tuned on something that you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss the build progress, because it's definitely going to be a car that is going to be very entertaining to see on the build process. So, thanks for watching.